Simon Owen, now with us from Paris this morning. Simon, what's the mood like in Paris this morning? Because that was just such tragic video to see yesterday across America.
Morning. Yes, I mean, I think there are two moods. I think there's one mood today, which is, actually things are perhaps not as bad as people had feared. I think the really stunning mood for me was yesterday evening. You know, the alarm was raised just before 7 p.m. It was still daylight, just about. And then as the evening went on and it got dark and the flames continued to rip through the roof and the smoke billowed up into the sky, thousands of people just stopped in the street and watched quietly as they looked at this national icon burning. You know, some people dropped to their knees as if in prayer, some people sang hymns, and many people just gazed on quietly with horror at this cherished site going up in flames. And for a time yesterday evening, French officials were being pretty open about the fact that they were quite concerned that the whole thing might come down. That was the fear. Now, that fear went away late last night to an extent. And as I say, you know, I mentioned you mentioned the photo that I put on the internet. It is still there. I am not a structural expert at the same time, and there are a lot of checks that still need to go on to figure out just how safe the remaining stone structure is. But certainly, the firefighters who worked through the night to save that stone central structure have made sure that today, yes, it is still standing. And I think for a lot of people who are coming to have a look at the damage with their own eyes, and thousands of people are doing that, I think there's an element of relief.
Yeah. When I saw your picture, I was amazed because seeing the flames yesterday, I thought, oh, that whole thing's going to go down. The other thing that was interesting, there was an incredible picture. I know the drudgereport.com picked this up as well. That old rugged cross from inside the church. At least that's the way I think of it. It was this golden cross and the inside of the Notre Dame Cathedral. The picture and imagery of that cross still standing, I think, was a sign of hope for so many people, especially heading into Easter this week.
Well, yeah, I mean, what a time, the busiest week in the Catholic Church's year, and then this happens. But yes, the altar cross survived. I mean, the glimpses we've had inside the building in daylight, and reporters have just had the briefest of glimpses, is that, you know, actually, it's in a bad way, make no mistake about it. This was a devastating fire on a massive scale in a very large building. But actually much of the interior at first glance looks to have been spared. And the other thing is they also managed to get a lot of stuff out, a lot of artifacts, holy objects, pieces of art. And it sounds like the French authorities had a plan for this kind of eventuality. It was always going to be very difficult tackling a blaze of this kind on a structure like this because it's so old and there's so much dry, ancient timber involved. But what you can plan for is how you're going to get things out. And there was a human chain of firefighters and other people who carried objects out. They've got the crown of thorns, they say here. They've got the tunic of St. Louis, various other items that are being stored here. And the Paris mayor says that these are all now in a safe place. Also, the organ survived. And Notre Dame has one of the largest organs in the world, 8,000 odd pipes. It dates back to the 1730s. And I think there's a lot of relief, certainly within the church, that this organ, one way or another, seems to be in one piece.
That's remarkable when you think about the number of artifacts in there, the organ and everything else. And then, of course, the big question everybody's asking is cause. I should be clear that the official word so far out of Paris, from what we've been hearing, is that they believe this was some sort of unintentional construction accident. But in the backdrop, there have been threats from ISIS in the past on this cathedral. There have been attacks on other Catholic churches across France. So there is that fear out there, that concern out there.
Well, all I can say is what the officials are saying, which is that they found no evidence of arson or terrorism. And yes, there were major renovation works underway. And so they say they're treating this for the time being as an accident, perhaps connected with renovation works, and they say that there is a long and complex investigation ahead. I think I would go a bit further and just caution against giving too much credence to various speculatory theories. I've covered a lot of terrorist attacks in France, and when they have a terrorist attack, they tend not to be shy about saying that's what they think.